So I'm currently on the hunt for different GMT watches for a roundup. I've been looking for the best affordable options anyway, and I landed upon these two Seikos, which are often talked about in online forums and on YouTube videos. I thought I'd check them out, see how they stack up to some of the micro brands I've been looking at recently, which are very impressive. Now, one I haven't got here is the new Presage GMT, which also looks really nice. Might have to try that one at some point if I can get it. But for now, we've got two other ones. We have this one, the SSK023. Now, this is extremely popular because people say it looks like the Rolex Explorer or the Explorer 2. I think the white version was more popular, although I just about preferred this black version from the stock images. No screw down crown there, that's just a standard crown. Now, I've already looked at a very similar watch to this before. That was a field watch that also had, I think, SSK as the code name, but it wasn't a GMT. And yeah, this watch definitely looks better than that one. The dome on the crystal is much more subtle, which is good because that was a bit of the previous watch I didn't like. I bought both of these watches myself on Amazon, by the way. Yeah, overall, I think this one looks pretty nice. Nice dark date wheel too. Case finishing looks reasonably good. In the back, we've got, what is it, NH34, I think? Sorry, 4R34, of course, because it's the in-house Seiko version, but it's basically the same thing. Flush case back. Yeah, this watch is actually slightly better than I anticipated. I definitely prefer this over the recent SNXS that I tore apart a bit on Ben's Watch Club. The dial's certainly more interesting. Got a bit more texture too. Bracelet isn't incredible, but you do at least get some decent micro adjustments. So yeah, first impressions of this one are better than I was expecting. I thought that my favorite would be the other one, but let's take a look at that now. So this one says Blueberry on the side, and I love blueberries. Let's see if a blueberry watch takes my fancy. You might have noticed I've got a new desk here. I think this looks so much better. And let's have a look. Another Seiko. I've seen this one referred to as the 5KX GMT. It still has the same SKX inspired design. No screw down though still just push pull. This is the SSK023K1, and it's got that Batman colorway, so yeah, black and blue bezel, which I think looks great actually. Seiko has done a good job with the color schemes of a lot of these dive style watches in particular. Very stubby proportions there, as you can see. We'll get the calipers out in a minute just to give them all a proper measure. And that's a smooth GMT bezel. I don't know why I wasn't expecting that. I think a lot of people don't seem to ever try the bezels in videos for some reason. Quite angular. I don't remember other versions of the 5KX being quite so angular towards the crown like that. Maybe because you'll be using it more, makes it a fraction easier to grab. Maybe I'm wrong. So both of these watches are affiliate linked in the video description if you want to go and check them out. So I guess this one is called Blueberry because of the dial, which is a slightly darker blue, almost halfway between the top and bottom half of the bezel in terms of tone. And it does look like blueberry. And while it's not the brightest, I think this actually looks killer. Bracelet isn't the best fit or, you know, the best bracelet in general, but it's reasonable from the looks of it. And in the back of this, it should be the same movement again as the last one. Yeah, both of these, I'm glad to report, are, at least on first impressions, a bit better than I expected. It's been quite a while since I liked a Seiko. Let's do the measurements and then a couple of wrist shots. So the field style watch, probably the smaller of the two, 39.1 wide, lug to lug, 47.5, and slimness, 13.9, maybe 14, which surprises me. It definitely doesn't look nearly that deep. I guess some of that depth is constituted by the crystal. Without it, it's more like 11.8. Maybe it's more domed than it appears, but it definitely looks better than the previous field watch, no doubt. But it is more expensive, so it should be better. Wow, 42.4 wide, but very short lug to lug. 44 5.9. Again, a bit of a chunk, 14mm again thick. And bezel width, which is always quite important on these watches, about 41.5. That one isn't a million miles off fitting me. So my wrist is 6¼ inches, pretty small. This watch is fairly small, so it's almost there. My preferred range is somewhere between 36 and 38. But yeah, that actually should be a very good fit for most people. And now the dive inspired one here, which I thought might actually look smaller given the extremely stubby lug to lug, but no, it does look bigger than the other one, and there's no chance I can pull this one off. But I think the watch looks good, it looks high quality, and at least because of the smooth bezel, you'll get bezel alignment unlike many Seikos these days. So yeah, quite short and stubby, but a lot of people will like this. Now, they did release that SKX MIDI, didn't they, which was like a smaller version of the regular dive style watch that they do these days. I wonder if they'll release like a smaller GMT. Maybe they won't be able to cram the movement in there, but I'll be very interested in that if that came to the market. So yeah, both of these are linked down below, so if you want to go check them out, then go and take a look. I think both of these, to be fair, will actually make it into that GMT roundup because they are better than I thought. We'll do a quick low light test as well before we finish. Now, as far as the big brands go, Seiko tend to be one of the better ones with lume, but they are beaten out by some smaller brands like Wise, for instance, from Thailand. I mean, their watch was absolutely radioactive. Let's see how these compare to the likes of Citizen or some of the others. This is much better than the last couple of Citizens I've looked at from lume, definitely. You'll see though the one on the right is much brighter. Is there nothing on the markers of this field style one? Oh, there is. There's a tiny bit on the markers, but that fades very quickly. The hands look about the same though. But yeah, if you were struggling to decide between the two, maybe that'll be the differentiating factor.